Well, howdy. Howdy ho.
You from the South all of a sudden?
Uh-huh.
There you go.
You know, I'm a cowgirl.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Oh
How is your week, Dave?
Oh my God. You know what? Actually pretty busy. Like, you know, when you look at what's gone on with everything that's going on in the world with the Super Bowl and the Olympics and things that the sports world, which is often up my alley, and then the Super Bowl halftime show. And there's so many things going on, you know, that it's been a busy sports week for me.
Yes, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I would imagine so. I mean, pretty boring football game at the Super Bowl, right?
It was.
I mean, yeah.
It was boring. No, 100% not exciting as far as Super Bowls go and excitement factors. You know, the crazy thing is the guy who's the kicker for Seattle, and people usually don't talk about kickers. He's a kid that's a family friend of ours. And we've been going to Christmas parties with this kid since he was like 8 years old. Little kid, you know, didn't get a chance to play past high school at a major school. And he ended up going to school at Marist University. And then all of a sudden he gets a chance to get a tryout. And he's been in the NFL like 12 years. And he was on pace to win most valuable player of the Super Bowl. It was the craziest thing that I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, you know, little Jason Myers all of a sudden might win most valuable player of the Super Bowl when nobody would give him an opportunity. Look at him now.
I love that. Don't you love it? There's nothing that makes me happier when you know somebody and then they do something that they love, or even if it's something that you didn't even know that they loved, but you see them being, you know, extremely successful at something. It's always such a good like spirit booster. You know, you see somebody, you're like, God, I remember when, and you know, look at them now. And it's just I don't know, it makes me so happy.
It is pretty amazing when again, everybody has a story. I know every athlete has a story and how hard it is to get there. And it goes the same thing for your business. But I always think about what that kid went through in high school, what he went through doubting himself, going to college across the country to guess what? I'm a Super Bowl champion. I have about $70 million in the bank and I live in the nicest neighborhood in San Diego because I stayed with it. You know what I mean? Like everything worked out when everybody told him no, you know, stop chasing your dream.
Yeah. You know, this is and sort of Bad Bunny had a moment in the halftime show where he approached what was a child actor representing him at a younger age, and he hands him the Grammy. And I think, you know, the big message, and you hear it a lot, maybe not enough, but a good reminder that you always keep following what you love, because even if that one thing that you want like so bad doesn't happen, something that that's meant for you will find its way into your path, because as long as you keep going forward in a positive motion with a positive energy and, you know, that willful spirit, it will find you. Like it has to. Like
I agree with that.
You know?
I agree. Yes, I agree. You know, and not to stay on sports, but there was a guy who played pro baseball, played like a year with the Dodgers, but he was never a good hitter, but he played like 13 years, which is enough to get a pension and be okay. And I always think about when everyone told him his whole life, he said, people would say, you aren't going to make it. You aren't going to make it. And finally, his response was always, fuck you. It's my dream. Don't worry about it. And, you know, stop telling me I'm not going to make it. I don't want to hear it anymore. And sure enough, the guy, he did make it. You know, the one that everyone said no chance. But his answer just got to be bitter and snap back at you and just drop a fuck you. It's my dream. Yeah. Why are you so consumed with it?
And as much as it bothers me that people would ever say that to anybody, I have to also wonder, is it because of the doubt and the haters that he then tries even harder?
Yeah,
you know,
I don't know.
Sword.
Yeah, I don't know what makes people go. And sometimes I don't know if people say stuff like that to people because they don't want to see them succeed, or is it a matter of they want them to be prepared because you might waste years of your life. I have no idea what people's intentions are when they say that.
It's probably
I don't know
bag.
Say that again.
Probably a mixed bag too.
Yeah.
There's probably people who are envious or people who have so much self-doubt in themselves that they can't even imagine that somebody else would succeed at something.
Yeah.
And then there's other people who feel like, oh my gosh, let's protect them because they're, 5'2". They're never going to be a basketball player, just, so I'm pretty sure it's a mixed bag, but that feedback that I always, I believe in positive reinforcement, but it does make me wonder, like when people try to put doubt in people's minds, if that is fuel for their fire or, and I guess that's probably a mixed bag too, because some people might take that negativity, right, and run with it and go, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. And then other people might take that in and go, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Such a, that's
I mean, believe it or not, Nicole, Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah.
And then he went back, worked a little bit harder, and he became, the greatest ever. I mean, kind of crazy.
And there you have it.
Yeah.
There you have it. So speaking of Super Bowl, I watched the Super Bowl from a cellular phone carrier in office. I mean, I was there so long. I've been there for so long, for so many days. Like they were offering me food and pizza. And,
oh my gosh.
I have like a designated couch.
Get your mail delivered there now.
I mean, it's wild. They're actually paying me. They actually, this is not a joke. I am, my account there now is like credited, like they are giving me credit. So 8 days ago, I was on a conference Zoom call, and I think I told a little bit of this story, and I started getting text alerts of password change, SIM card activation. Your line has been unlocked. SIM card request. Here's your port out code. And just like that, I had no cell service.
Wow.
And I'm on this call and I'm like, oh my God. And I just want to get off the call. And so it finally ends and I'm like so confused as to what's going on. So I look at it and I realize somebody has transferred my phone number to their device. And then I realized one of my emails has been compromised. And my one saving grace in all of this is being an Apple user. So when I get on my laptop and I start trying to sign into my emails and things like that, it starts popping up. This information was in a data breach. This information was in a data breach. Change your password now. So I was like, shit. So I get in the car and I just drive to the bank. I'm like, what are the priorities, right?
Yeah.
Let's stay calm here. What are the priorities? So I go to the bank. It's 4:59. They're closing the door. The manager won't help me. She's
no
like,
way.
You have to call. I'm like, I don't have cell service, ma'am. I don't, and I'm home alone. I have no service. And Keegan's not going to be home until like 7, 8 o'clock at night. That's too late. So there's a man there. And I'm like, sir, may I borrow your phone? I need to call. I'm in a cyber attack and I need to call the bank and freeze my money. So I get that frozen. So I feel good about that part, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. The little money I have, but I need very desperately, is at least frozen. They're aware.
Good.
I go on Experian, and then I start getting alerts that my credit's getting dinged. And they're basically, the app is like, why are you applying for these hard ding credit? Because some of them have a hard credit check and some of them don't. They have hard and soft. And it's not like me to do that. So it's like sending me alerts like this is messing up your credit. So they're applying for credit cards, which I'm going to deal with next. But I still do not have my phone number back. It's 8 days.
Wow.
This is my product alert, and it's not a good one. And it's my PSA for everybody. And I want everybody to hear me very clearly because this is very worth your time. There is a new kind of hacking going on, and it's part of identity theft where it's called an eSIM hack. And the cell providers are not prepared for it. They are not equipped and not prepared for it, and they don't know what to do about it. So I was with a company called Visible, which is an app-based cellular phone service. If you are with something like that, get away from it immediately. They tend to piggyback off big cell towers, which is great. And they offer really discounted monthly rates, which is great. And I've had it for a few years and it's been great. until there was a problem. And they have no live lines where you can talk to an agent or talk to a customer service. It's all chat. And it starts with AI chat, of course. And then when you finally get a live agent, it's a very low level, customer service person. And you explain the story and you ask for it to be escalated. And they say they will. And basically, to make a long story short with them, I spent days going back and forth with them thinking they couldn't possibly not protect me, right?
Yeah.
They did get me my service back to my phone. Then the hackers took it again. Then they got service back. This happened 3 times.
Wow.
3 times. Then it became a game of cat and mouse where they were going in and changing the password, unlocking the line, meaning getting it ready for an eSIM transfer. I was going in, changing the password, locking it back up. And we were doing this. It takes 30 minutes for it to activate. So I am doing this for 30 minutes for 3 days straight, all through the night. Now, the problem is they had my email and they were fully in my email and locked me out of it. And it's the email that it's attached to my cell service. The cell provider changed the email for me when they realized what the problem was. And this took hours. I mean, I'm telling you, 5-6 hours to get them to change. 2 days in like 5-6 hours at a time, explaining the story all over again.
Wow.
They changed the email on it, but they don't take the old one off. And they said that they don't take it off for 30 days. I said, but you are willingly allowing a hacker who has taken over that email to access my cell service. We understand, but that's the policy. So that's absolutely no help. That's got me completely glued to my device watching. And the problem is when they took over the Microsoft email, Microsoft is no help. Microsoft let them change the phone number, the email, and put an app authenticator on it. So anytime and then they kept changing the password on me. So anytime I needed to recover and get back into that Microsoft email, I had to go through a whole form and then wait. And where you answer the original security questions when you first created the account back in, the 1800s when I created this email. And so I would have to go through that where they just get to click and change it. And then they're in, and then they go and then they change my visible and then they go and unlock the line. Okay. So they get it transferred. I start panicking. I realize visible is not going to help me and I need to do something. And I've thought for days. I mean, I really thought for days. They kept telling me, okay, we've stopped it. It's not going to happen again. Boom, happens again. And it took me a couple of days. I was very naive. I thought I was going to hear back from Microsoft, and I thought that Visible was going to protect me. Neither happened, folks. Neither happened. So day 6, I'm like, Nicole, like you can't, I couldn't physically and mentally go on like this anymore of constantly going back and forth with them. So I walk into a new provider, a top tier provider. I get a great girl. I explain to her what's going on. She puts a temporary phone number. She gets my service switched over to Visible. She gets my service switched from Visible and she gives me a temporary phone number. My phone's up and working, but my original phone number that is attached to all my stuff, all my accounts, is now at Spectrum. So we get Spectrum involved. Now, I want to tell you something. These hackers, in a matter of like the 10, 20 minutes that they had my number, they got into my Starbucks, my Target, my credit, my bank, you name it. They got into it. And, thank God, again, I will say that I had Apple, so they were not able to get into my iCloud or any of my Apple stuff, although they were trying. But Apple is good like the bank where you call them and in 5 minutes, they've got you locked down.
Yeah.
And so to get into any of my stuff, you have to go to one of my in-home devices and authenticate it, right? Yeah. So it's like this, they can't get in. So I go to a store and I realized that Spectrum has it. This store, we're like, okay, I'm now into my Visible account. I unlock it and we're like, we're going to do this eSIM transfer and we're going to get service going. Well, they beat us to it and they get it turned on at Spectrum. So I spent an entire day at Spectrum in their store and on the phone with them. And I went through every tier of security. The manager even was texting me after hours because his brain was like going crazy. They cannot figure out how to give me my line back. They've froze it. They know it's a fraudulent account. The head of the fraud department called me to apologize and was like, this is mind-blowing. They have a ticket open. It's now at corporate level. It's with the people who create the Spectrum system.
Okay.
And I'm waiting. I'm in a waiting period. They have to figure out, how do they get me my phone number back? Because the hacker went in there, created a Spectrum account, put all of their information, and used my phone number. So, and they can't, every time they try, so they gave me a security code. They let me put an email on there. So when I call, I'm able to get verified right away. And then that person can pull up and see all the notes in the file to, like, you know, take time off. Like, because these phone calls take hours, if not days. They cannot figure out. Their system will not allow them to send me the port out PIN.
Wow.
To get my phone number back. And they are embarrassed. They are horrified. The manager at the in-store said to me, I've worked here for 3 years. I've never seen anything like this. Even the fraud department was like, I've been here this amount of years. I have never not been able to do this. So what I want everybody to do is, if you are on an app-based cellular provider, get off of it. Get off of it. They're being targeted because they have nothing in line. You can, as I'm telling you, Spectrum, one of the biggest leaders, they don't have any protocol for this. And you get to talk to live people there. And this has been escalated, and they have in stores where you can go in and talk to managers, and these people, you can get a whole team behind you, right? These app only, you get none of that, and you get no protection, and they're being hacked first and foremost because of that.
Yeah.
The little amount, and I know changing your provider is a hassle. I know all that, but you don't know hassle until you go through what I've been going through. So that's my first product alert for today and all year long. If you are on an app-based cellular provider, get off. It is not worth it. Second, go call your provider and figure out what they have in place and what you can do to double, triple protect your account. Because if all it takes is for your email and your password to get caught in some kind of data breach across this big, huge worldwide web, and it happens multiple times a day, every day, through all kinds of companies, all it takes is one time, and they can get into your whole life. So get the authenticator apps that are available. They're free of charge. That's an extra layer of protection in case your phone does get hacked, so you can retrieve your password. Have multiple emails, people, and have multiple emails with multiple ways to get in them, and split it. Luckily, a lot of my money is tied to an email that they did not get into. But this email that they got into is so old. It was my first one.
Yeah.
And so it's attached to a lot of stuff. You immediately call your bank and tell them that your number has been compromised. Get a temporary number from a provider like I did, because you can say to them, because the bank, you make calls and they say, we've recognized you from the phone number you're calling from. This happens so many times.
Yeah.
You've got to immediately, those corporations that you work with, you've got to call them immediately and change your phone number, not only your email, your phone number. It has been a wild, wild ride. Wild.
Stressful. Very stressful. Not only your time, but the freaking out process.
Well, here's the thing. So I had to miss a cancer treatment because of it. And it was in the very beginning. And it was because I needed to secure my bank stuff. And that was more important than the cancer treatment, because in a couple hours, they could have all my money. In a couple hours, I'm still going to be in the same place physically, right? So I can reschedule that and luckily when you have to go in for treatment like that, they will just take you when you can get there. Honestly, they're good about that. So when I finally did go in for my treatment, I got my blood test results and they were good. My blood test looked great. So I was like, you know what? There's nothing to stress about. This is all just technical stuff. There's no, I'm going to lose it. There's no me yelling at any of the people who can't help me. There's none of that. My money's secure and Spectrum is on it.
Yeah.
So they've locked the line. Nobody can port it out or, do anything. They're working on it. And, we're all human at the end of the day. Behind all this tech stuff, there are human beings. And so, no, I'm not freaking out. And I sat in there on a couch with all the employees. We watched the Super Bowl.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God.
We watched the Super Bowl. They're a great crew in there, and they're just friendly, wonderful people, luckily. And so they will have my service. And yeah. And it's kind of wild because the thing with technology is it's either so magical and so easy. Right? You just like click a button and poof, everything is there for you and it's wonderful. Or it is a complete and utter shit show. So, I want my experience to just make everybody aware because this is a new hack that's new and it's on the rise. It's on trend for hackers and it's going to be happening a lot more. So if anything, listen, I always find out everything the hard way. This is kind of the story of my life. And I always say, you always hear that the universe doesn't give you things that you can't handle. So at least Spectrum hopefully will learn something from what's going on with me. Right.
Yeah, there's training going on. They're figuring it out and training is going to be going on.
Right. So, so hopefully maybe I made some headway to stop some of these trackers. I'm sort of the guinea pig and I'm not going to let it stress me out. I am absolutely not stressed out about it. By the way, if you've been trying to get in touch with me for a week, I'm not ignoring you. I don't have my phone number.
I know. I sent you a message earlier this week, and you're going through it, and you were like, "I don't even know who this is," because nobody remembers anyone's number anymore, you know. And so it was one of those like, "Hey, what the hell is that supposed to mean?"
Yeah. Well, in the process, somewhere in the process, a lot of my contacts got deleted. A lot of them are still there, but some of them are deleted. So, it's a very weird situation. But I do have a temporary number on it, so we can pick up in the iMessage thread. Like I can text and I can see the history. But if I go to search for, like, say I put Dave Palais into my contacts, it wasn't there. It was like no contact found. So I was like having to scroll through all my texts. And I finally was like, is this Dave and Josh?
Yeah.
You guys, and which is which? Send me your number.
That is funny.
Yeah.
No, that is not fun and scary. And the thing is, we always talk about this. The guys who are in jail often are extremely bright people. And more than likely, the person that came up with the scam was somebody who developed, or part of the history of developing security and said, you know what, I can make more money being the bad guy than being the good guy. And I'm going to sit there and figure out a way to separate people from their identity and their money. I mean, remember we talked about on the show a few weeks ago was what should the punishment be for people that that are scammers? And I was like, death, without a doubt, death, And I felt like you gave me a look like, hey, that's a little harsh. But now that you've been through it, it would feel pretty good to stone somebody right there in the center square of the city. It is ridiculous to see people do this to other human beings. It's awful. It's awful.
The girl who's been helping me at my new provider, she said to me, she looked at me and she said, this has to be somebody who's worked for cellular companies before. And she goes, and I said to her, yeah, they're going to be so disappointed. Even if they did get into my bank, they're going to be like, I did all this. I spent all of these nights because they've worked through the night for this. This is her balance. This is it. It's not worth it. So this person's wasting their time on me, and it's like she said, if they put this much energy into maybe helping
Of
people who
course.
are in my situation, you could make like an honest living and
Of
get,
course.
you could charge premium and you could earn your angel wings.
Yes.
Instead of, creating really bad karma and juju for yourself because, no, it's not nice. And do you know what they changed? Do you know what they changed my name to? These motherfuckers.
I'm dying to know. What is it?
Nicole Angel.
Oh, wow. Look at that. When did you go into porn?
Well, I might have to after this. Is there a market for granny porn? Like,
oh my gosh. You know what? I think there probably is. Yeah, there's one for everything out there right now.
Yeah. Like mastectomy porn. Cancer patient porn.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry you went through all this.
I'm telling you, this is day 8, and this is not fixed. So I'm telling you, it is worth your time, everyone, to just make a call and say, hey, and everybody tries to tell you, oh, you're safe. Yeah, we've got all these safety. Tell them what happened to me. Tell them that you know that this is on the rise, and what do they have in place, and what can you put in place on your device to ensure that this doesn't happen. Again, I'm learning all about these authenticator apps, which I was behind on, and I just didn't set up because we've talked about this at our age. Like, everything is like this whole learning process. Somehow the young kids, and I get it because I used to be one of them, when everything updates and everything's different when you open the screen, they immediately still know how to use it. Whereas it takes me a minute to sit there and stare at it. Like today, we logged into StreamYard. I had to set up my whole account all over again, which was fine. I was able to do it, but it's time consuming, right?
Yes, of course.
And it takes me a minute. I stare at it and I'm like, where do I go for that? Because that's moved, and all this. So I didn't do the authenticator apps because, wow, that's one more entire app that I have to learn and then go apply it to every account that I have. Well, do it. Do it, guys. Authy is free. I know Google has one that's free. Microsoft has one, but I'm sour with Microsoft right now, so I don't want anything to do with them. But there's these authenticators, and what they create a code every 30 seconds.
Wow.
So to log into your accounts, they create a code 30 seconds, and it transfers it's a really good like lock on your accounts. So good times. Wow. Good times. I could write a little book on them.
Oh my gosh.
It's been very interesting though. I kind of took it as an opportunity to learn about how these like hackers work and how places like Spectrum work and the different layers and, meeting all the different people. And then it was really ironic because I'm outside of Spectrum. I got a parking spot right in front, and I went into my car to take one of the phone calls and be on hold with somebody at Spectrum, sitting in my car, and a guy pulls up next to me. He doesn't like the way I'm parked. Well, sir, when I pulled into the parking spot, there were cars on either side of me. So I pulled in a safe, so everybody had their own space. I might have been over like a little bit, but definitely not over like the line or even on the line. But I'm talking to somebody. I finally have somebody on the phone. We are talking, and they're a high-level person. He's mad. And so he tells me, move your fucking car.
Shit.
And I'm like, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, and I'm on the phone, clearly on the phone talking to somebody, and my car's not even running.
Yeah.
And he says, I said, move your fucking car. He's screaming at me. And I'm like, and she's like, ma'am, are you okay? And I was like, yes. And so he starts calling me names in his native language, whatever that was, and gets into his big truck, parks it behind me so I can't go anywhere. But my car's not running, and starts hitting my car, starts banging my car.
No way.
No kidding. So I roll up my window. Well, now he's doing that. He has a big truck, and he's doing that behind my car, and it's a small lane, and it's this quiet neighborhood. So now people are honking at him. He gets out of the car, and he's recording me and taking pictures of me. So I'm smiling and I'm waving at him as I'm on, like, what is he doing? What are you talking about?
Wow.
Hitting the car. So I roll up all the windows, and she's like, ma'am, are you sure you're okay? That man sounds very aggressive. I was like, he is very aggressive, but there are police everywhere. There's witnesses. There's people. I was like, if he hits me or he touches me, I mean, he's going to jail. So I'm not going to let him ruffle my feathers either. Like, I'm just not. I was so surprised at myself that my blood pressure didn't even raise.
Yeah.
Big, huge dude screaming at me. I was like, you cannot fuck with me right now.
Yeah.
Like, I am untouchable at this point, sir. You look crazy. You are all worked up. And the funny part of it is a lady pulls in with an even bigger truck than he has into the spot that he had trouble with. And she has no problem. She gets out of the car. She parks there. She pays her parking and she walks off. And I'm sitting there like, this lady in a bigger car, a bigger vehicle than you had no problem parking next to me. But you have to scream at a woman and call me names and bang on my car.
Wow.
Yeah. Really crazy.
So you, did the police come?
No. If he hadn't gone, if he went any further, I would have flagged a cop down or, called, but yeah, banging on my car, like physically with his fist in my car.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I was like, no, you're not going to bother me either, psycho. No, I am not playing into any of this. You have problems. But I thought it was hilarious when the girl pulls up in the big truck.
Yeah.
Has no problem parking next to me. Like, gets in and out of her car. Because I was like, am I that far over? Like, what? Can he not get out of his car? And she pulls in. Because part of me was like, well, are you parked like really fucked up? Like, should you move the car? Like, should you be moving the car? And she pulls in and like nothing, not a huge pickup, lifted huge pickup, jumps out of the car. So I was like, no, obviously, fine.
Yeah, it's a you problem. Oh my God.
You problem, sir. So I just got out of the car, went back into the store. I was like, yeah.
Wow.
So it's been a lot. It's been
had a lot.
Test. It's been a real test of where are you at, Nicole?
Yeah.
Where are you at with your nerves and your blood pressure?
No kidding. You have had a lot.
Yeah, and I'm fine. Totally fine. I'm totally at peace with it.
Wow.
But yeah.
And I thought we were going to talk about Bad Bunny.
Yeah. Well, listen, Bad Bunny was great. It's so funny because the far right, I wasn't necessarily a Bad Bunny fan before. It's not like music I would go to, but I'm a music fan. So I love all genres. I just love music. So now I'm a fan. I mean, you have driven me, folks, to love this man. I already knew that he was very important. I already knew all the positive, amazing things he's doing for Puerto Rico, which in turn is for this country, you big dodos. And I already knew that. I mean, I obviously pay attention to the news. So although I don't listen to Bad Bunny music and I maybe couldn't have identified one of his songs prior to this, I can now. I absolutely knew who he was and his importance and his message and all of the great things that he does. So now I'm a fan of his music as well.
Good.
And his reaction when he won at the Grammys was just so beautiful and genuine. And the way he just soaked in the moment, you knew he was not taking any of this for granted and that he's not riding some wave of some high. You know what I mean? He really is genuinely thinking these things through, taking it in the moment. And I really loved that his show was not politically driven. It was very much about love and connection. And I really thought that was amazing. And he really uplifted Los Angeles with a lot of like the Via's Tacos, the stand, that kid, he started, if you don't know his story, he started by selling tacos in his mom's front yard, is now one of the most popular taco joints in LA. And he had him there with his stand. Just, it rolled over into so many things. And I just thought, this is it. This is what it is. Yeah. And I don't know why it didn't bother me for 1 second that there was no English. Like, the people, like, did you see Jill Zarin got on?
What is she thinking? What is she thinking?
She got fired. Did you see she's fired?
I didn't know she had a job before. I didn't even know she had a job. I just saw her.
He is bringing back Real Housewives of New York.
The original cast?
The original cast, and they're calling it the golden life, the golden era, the golden something. And she was part of it. She got fired.
Wow.
I mean, to think that your mouth got you in trouble before Ramona.
Like, yeah. That is crazy. I didn't think about it.
That was like, yeah, when I saw her post, I was like, I did not know you were such a bigot.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I knew we all know Ramona is. I did not know Jill was. I thought Jill was like a Republican on the DL. I didn't know she was an outright racist bigot like that.
She's a racist. I mean, she didn't even go to Heritage. She just went there and where are the white people? I mean, it was crazy. And yet Lady Gaga goes on stage. Everyone in the crowd was white. There were white people all over my TV. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. What do you mean there are no white people there?
I know. Well, she meant in the performance.
Yeah, I understand.
Lady Gaga, hello.
But you know what I'm saying? What are you talking about?
I know.
It's so nuts to me. I still can't. I'm just one of those I can't get over in today's day and age that people think that way. I've worked with guys in sports that are literally doing a show and a guy will make a comment, there aren't enough white people on the roster. I'm like, what? Like, don't you care about wins and losses? Who gives a shit? Like, I've never once thought as a sports fan, what is the breakdown on race? I just want to win the game as my favorite team. I never understood any of that. It's and I'm not none of those. I'm getting on my high horse. I just can't believe what she said. Like, this is not 1952. Are you out of your effing mind?
And it's like Jill Zarin. Do you know how many times there's probably been Super Bowl halftime shows where there's only white people?
Yeah.
Like, can we talk? Like, where were you for all of those, you psycho?
Well, she lives in New York. There are more Puerto Ricans in New York than Puerto Rico.
I know. She probably not in her neighborhood, so she probably lives in some.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was wild, and to me, I don't even think race. I think show. I think entertainment. I think costumes. I think set design. I think music. I think dance. I think all of these things before I even notice the color of anybody's skin. Right? I'm more like in it for the art. Like.
Well, I like to see people have a good time. I'm a music fan like you, and I like to see people have a good time, and people are having a good time. Right. And I know the music because I said I coach high school baseball, and the kids play it all the time, and I've been playing it for years. And I've seen Bad Bunny for years on Saturday Night Live hosting, and he was in Adam Sandler's Happy Gilmore 2 movie a lot. And the guy's an entertainer trying to basically express his art. I was at Super Bowl 50 in the same exact stadium they were at for Super Bowl 60. And to think that at Super Bowl 50, this guy is trying to get his music heard by uploading it in his bedroom through YouTube to be where he is today, 10 years later, is insane. Is crazy. At the Grammys, the idea that he had to wear a bulletproof vest and sat at a table by himself at the Grammys because there's so many death threats. He didn't want anyone at his table being injured in case there was an attempt on his life. He did the whole performance at halftime in a bulletproof vest. And then he had that vehicle that looked like an ambulance that was filled with his own blood in case he was shot. It was super sad the way that here he is trying to express his art and fear for his life at the same time.
It's disgusting. And, when I heard that he had the bulletproof vest on at the Super Bowl also, and I thought, but what about all the other people around him? He was surrounded by so many people. What if they missed?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
And you know what's wild is that why would somebody there's no reason this man should be fearing for his life at all.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he's like some big political, it's not like he goes out and speaks bad about, he's not spreading hate. He's not I won't even say the name. I'm not even going to say that guy's name.
But we're in a day and age where people aren't afraid to start shooting people all of a sudden. I mean, we're
yeah. They would shoot him just because he is not pure white and he's going to be speaking Spanish at the halftime show at a football game. That's why you would take somebody's life. That to me is so deranged and it's scary. That's so scary.
Yeah. Entertainment value wise, it's only the second time in Super Bowl history where the halftime show did better than the game. Pretty amazing. The only other person to do it was Michael Jackson, did it at the Rose Bowl, but that was it. It's never happened before where the halftime got better ratings than the game. Pretty amazing.
And his YouTube, the rewatch of it all is it got more views in the shortest amount of time than anything ever in the history of YouTube.
Yeah.
And continues. I think it gets millions every couple minutes. Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
So, you know, good on you. Go Bad Bunny.
Yeah. How about that? How about that?
Yeah.
Do you want to hit these questions in your mailbag?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, again, Nicole's mailbag is perfectlytwistedpod.com, perfectlytwistedpod.com. The mailbag's at the top of the screen, and we will get to your questions. All right, so this is from Brandy. Brandy, I know you sent these in a few weeks ago. Nicole, what's a major U.S. city that you have no desire to visit?
A major U.S. city?
Yeah, well, you just go, I wouldn't go to that city.
You know what's I don't know that I can answer that because I guess it would have to be somewhere like in the deep South where there's all these racist people.
You pick your
I would
state.
have to choose that because I'll tell you something. I really love cities of all kinds. Like
Yeah.
because I really love to see the different culture. I really love to see what's really going on in the country. I just love travel, and I think all of it's like so educational, and so there's really not a place I wouldn't go unless I was like fearing for my life.
Yeah.
But even then, like I've been to some shady places in Chicago, and
Is that right?
yeah, and it was a little bit scary, but it was like I'm glad I went. I'm glad I did it. So I mean, I guess you know, I would say I guess somewhere down in Mississippi.
You know, my kid is in Baton Rouge, Louisiana today as we're doing the show, and he got in yesterday. It was a nightmare to get there, but he said, so LSU, which is a, big time sports school, is in Baton Rouge, and Josh went to Alabama. So they're huge rivals, but he's never been to Baton Rouge as not being a football player. And he says to me last night, I don't know why anybody would come to the school to play football. This is the worst city I've ever been to. and the old saying in Louisiana is, how if there's an alligator in the water? If you put your hand in the water and your hand gets wet, there's an alligator in the water. Like there are alligators everywhere. And so he just last night was like, this is number one on my list of worst cities. For me, I drove cross country a few times. Oklahoma City was the worst one at the time. This was, way back. So I don't know, maybe it's gotten better, but Oklahoma City was my least favorite city I've ever been to.
I can imagine that. I can see that because Tulsa, even although Tulsa's on the rise and a lot of people are moving out there, and I heard it's really quite fun out there. Our friend Danny Boy's out there. Danny.
Oh, there.
So, and a lot of people visit there, and there's a lot going on. And it's quiet, it's sleepy, it's but it's got some cool flavor. But that seems real slow moving, real flat, real flat. My daughter was there, and I asked her what it was like, and she goes, "It seems like everything's closed."
Oh, that's funny.
It's kind of ghost towny.
Yeah.
So there's that vibe. So I guess places like that. But it's weird because like the South is so beautiful. So it's like I say that, but then I think it's beautiful. Even those bayous are beautiful. I've been on the bayous and seen those alligators. Yeah, I mean, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna go with you with Oklahoma City.
Okay.
I guess I can cross that off the list of just not going to learn much and not much to see.
I told you this summer I'm headed in one weekend because I do this baseball thing with my son that we're hitting Detroit, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh over a one weekend. And I was like, none of those sound like cities people would go to say, hey, what are you doing on your free time? But I've never been. So I've been to Cleveland, but I'll give you my opinion of Detroit. I had an uncle from Detroit.
Cleveland's fun though. Cleveland can be fun, right?
Cleveland has a lot going on. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's there. They got a lot of people. What's funny? I love Midwest people, by the way. They always have a great sense of humor. I love Midwest.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend anybody because I do too. I think that there's great people that come out of there. And I don't want to offend anybody that lives in any of these cities we're talking about. It's just if I have to pick one, I guess I'm going to pick one with the least amount of culture and the least amount of like stuff going on.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Next question. Do you give your kids dating advice?
Listen, one of them is an adult. She's with her partner. she's been with him for a number of years. And even when they've gone through their rocky spots and she's they've broken up, she handles herself very well. So I feel very good. I don't think she wants my advice. I think it would be unsolicited. And I just try to be more of an ear. With my young one, she's not interested yet still. And we talk about they really just are a distraction right now at this point, because dating when you're this young is not to marry, and your hormones get involved, and it's very much a distraction. On the same token, it's very normal and it's very natural to then start becoming attracted to whatever you're attracted to, right? Because hormones are kicking in. So I want to be there, not as a non-judgmental parent. She hasn't been allowed to date or even be interested in a boy up until now anyways, so that was off the table. But if she wanted advice, I would give it. Otherwise, the only thing I can say is that I'm here to listen. They're a distraction. It's not going to work out.
It's not. This is not the one.
This is probably not the one, and they're not meant to be. They're all horrible until it's the right one, and you have to know that. You can't hold on to toxic stuff. You've got to just move on and know that you're going to be okay, because it's not the one for you. But no, I feel like my advice would be unsolicited, and I feel like my teenager would come to me and talk to me about it. I'm hoping so. It feels like it. And once she becomes interested, and no, there's no advice. Luckily, I just don't have to deal with that right now. That's not something in our world.
There you go.
Right now.
Yes. And a year might be different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Different. And rightfully so.
Yep. All right, Nicole, when you're inside your house, do you usually go barefoot or wear socks?
I wear slippers.
Okay.
In the summer, I'm barefoot. So my kids will say to me, I'm obsessed with the vacuum. Like, I've got a Dyson, and I vacuum. I vacuum where I walk probably twice a day, because I hate wearing shoes and socks. I won't walk around in socks because it makes the socks so dirty.
Yeah.
So I have in-home slippers, and I like bare feet, so I keep my floors really clean. And my daughter goes like, "Can you stop with the vacuum?" I'm like, "Really?" Because we have a cat. So if you want little traces of cat food or cat litter or cat hair on your feet, I don't have to vacuum. We can live like that. But I don't think you do either. So I keep the floors pretty spotless.
Yes.
Because shoes come right off. Shoes and clothes come right off.
Nicole, have you ever been kicked out of your house by your parents?
No, but have I left? Yes. Have I done the runaway thing? Absolutely. Well, I don't know if we would call this kicked out, but my mother took a lease out on an apartment when I was about 14. I was 14 years old, and decorated it and handed me a set of keys.
Wow.
And it was within walking distance to Universal Studios, so I could get myself to work.
Yeah. In
her defense, I did have a younger sister that she needed to get home to Huntington Beach for, and a father. She was in a marriage, and I was working 5 days a week, some days more if I had press stuff to do on the weekends or events or something like that. And that drive was it takes its toll. Yeah. And even so much so on her that sometimes she needed a place to crash too, and then wake up really early and go take care of my sister. So it was sort of a crash pad for us. Yeah. Which eventually really very quickly turned into where I was most of the time.
Kind of cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Who leaves their 14-year-old in Los Angeles by themselves with their own apartment? My mom did. But when we had Alyssa Milano on the show, and we talked, it was she, we very much were in the same circle, and we very much got dropped off at the same parties. And she said our parents, they would drop us off and be like, "Bye, see you later." Yeah. It just was a different time. And so, I mean, if that's a form of kicking me out.
Yeah. Hell, you're right.
Apartment.
It was definitely a different time for sure. It's funny. I remember being at a high school party with Alyssa Milano once. I didn't talk to her. I mean, I know she's been on the phone and on the show, but I haven't. It's kind of crazy. Like it was different in the 80s and in the Valley, and it was like the weekends were for me. A person was at school was a whole nother world. It was a whole nother world. I mean, I've been at parties where Eddie Van Halen was the next door neighbor and yelled at us for flipping beer bottle caps into his yard, and we're like, holy shit, it's Eddie Van Halen. Like it was just different. It was a different childhood than a lot of people, but it was kind of crazy,
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're at a different level than me, but it was wild. Friday to Sunday was. Thursday to Sunday was crazy. I would just say that. All right. Yeah. Living in Los Angeles was wild. All right. Last question. Nicole, this is funny. Nicole, do you have a home phone?
I do not. I was kicking myself in the rear end about that but I do. But now I have 2 phone numbers on my one phone.
Okay.
So, or I will have 2 phone numbers on my one phone so that there is a backup line if something happens. So, to answer your question, no, like a landline, no.
There you go. All right, that was it right there. Brandy, appreciate the questions. perfectlytwistedpod.com. That's how you ask your questions, and go to that mailbag at the top, and we'll get them on the show. But Brandy, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Brandy. Those were good questions. Again, with the ladies bringing the good questions.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Yes. All right. Well, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, give us a review. And we love you, and we will see you next time.